Okay, can y'all hear me now? Okay, can y'all hear me now? All right, that should be good. I should have set all of this up beforehand, but I got excited about doing the live chat, so. And I have to kind of remind myself every time I do this of what exactly I'm doing, because it's different when you do it just YouTube and when you do it Patreon. So those of you who got in here while it was public, you're actually getting what is actually for Patreon. So um, I see a couple of you. Um, this is actually a live video for Patreon, and of course YouTube. I messed up. YouTube messed up. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Um, but I guess at least this way you kind of get to see what I do. Um, and Danny Gregory's Art Before Breakfast, he tells you to sketch things that are in your everyday life to improve on your drawing and writing. I mean, on your drawing skills. So, like this right here, I did some breakfast stuff. I did uh, stuff throughout my day. This is this morning. Mr. Rockstar got up before me, and he made coffee. This is Mr. Rockstar, but I was watching Supernatural when I drew it, and so it kind of looks like a hybrid of Mr. Rockstar and Dean from Supernatural. More real life, regular, everyday kind of things. Laundry, and you can't really tell it's laundry because I use such bright colors. Um, but I've been trying to do little things, cold medicine, from my regular day to practice with my drawing skills and my watercolor skills. Um, Watercolor is not all that forgiving. Um, it takes practice. And one of the things that I've been trying to practice with, normally I would use this, but because I don't have the heat gun where I'm at right now filming, I'm going to have to let it dry on its own. And this is actually much more wet medium than, believe it or not, this Pilot multi-ball. No, you don't have to take off, Deb. It's okay. I put it up public, so if you want to watch while you're in here, a couple of you caught it, and that's cool. Um, so, um, yeah. So what I did, and I have a hard time drawing or painting and talking. So if y'all want to talk among yourselves, by all means, please do. And I will keep looking up at this screen to see if any of you have questions. But I thought, if you wanted to get your journal out and journal with me, this would be a good way to do that. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really allow music. So This notebook is that prototype from Bree from Documented Journey that I've been testing out. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah. um, so I think I have 6 of you watching. Like I said, I guess I could do this public. I will change the settings in Patreon and make this public so everybody can see it. I don't have anybody commenting on it yet, so let's just do that. Edit. Public. Oh, come on, computer. Okay. Okay, so we'll see if it's public again. Now, what did I do with my pen when I did that? So Bree created this prototype. She is listed as Documented Journey on Etsy and on YouTube. And her as of right now, the journals that you can find in her shop on Etsy, you can customize them or you can get them with covers that she's already created artwork for. This one is just a sticker. It's just a sticker of her artwork, but this is her actual artwork, and this is a customized journal. So this has Strathmore paper in it, and this is my actual, like, my sketchbook. This is where I do plein air sketching, urban sketching, or just sketching in the house. Like I did this, and I don't normally do cartoon figure stuff in here, but I wanted to have a little bit of fun and test it out. And that right here is it anyway, that's disappointing. But I've been doing urban sketching, and my daughter pointed out something to me when we went urban sketching. She was like, Mom, your artwork looks more like illustrations from a child's book, from children's books. And I do like that style. I do like that. Mr. Rockstar's been telling me for a year or two now that I seriously ought to think about doing a children's book and doing the illustrations myself. So I've been trying to get better. Like, I did really well with her face, but I didn't do very well with her face at all. So I'm trying to get better. So I've been practicing art, trying to, every day. So it's much easier when you have a point of reference. And I find that journaling helps relax me. I can be stressed out about something, and when I journal, I feel better almost immediately. So that's supposed to be a book right there. And I drew this with the Pilot Color Eno pen in red. I really do like to draw with the light blue one, but I wanted something a little bit different. I flip-flop back and forth between the red and the light blue. And like I said, y'all please talk amongst yourself, because when I get really into the drawing, I'm probably not going to talk a whole lot. So if you want to journal with me while I do this, you're more than welcome to. I can multitask, but this is one of the few things that I really can't multitask with. Well, I just messed up her nose, and I had it so good with the pencil, but that's okay. I'll go back in. So I'm going to talk for a minute while this ink kind of dries a little bit. Give it a minute because I want to go in and erase. And I'm not going to be able to do that if the black ink is wet. So I'm going to talk to you for a minute while I do that. I think I got most everything that I needed to get, even the screw up with the nose, but that's okay. So, live journaling, yes. Yes, it's public again, good. Hello, everyone. My name is Burgess Taylor, and I have a Facebook group called Journey with Burgess, and I have a website, and most of everything but YouTube is now Journey with Burgess. So I thought I'd, and I'm about to get a newsletter. I'm finishing the video for it and the blog post I have to write still. So yeah, like Jen just said, this was actually supposed to be a live journal with me for Patreon, but due to my mishap, it ended up public on YouTube. It was supposed to be unlisted, and I guess I don't know. I thought I clicked unlisted when I went into Patreon to set it up. I clicked unlisted, and when I went into YouTube, it said unlisted in the one portion, but that's okay because this actually gives you a chance to see what I do, and it's not like I can't create another page for Patreon. So what I do sometimes when I want to practice is I'll pick something that for me is not real super detailed oriented, or maybe has some detailed and some things that I like to do and they're easy for me, but the other detail work that I'm not so great at, I'll kind of do a little bit of it, and then this is a warm-up for something that's a little bit more serious. So this page is the warm-up for something that's a little bit more serious. So this is my warm-up. I want to create something, and but I don't want it to be super stressful. There, I had to, sorry, my other camera needs to charge. So I wanted it to be there we go. Now it's just stopped beeping. I wanted it to be something, as my grandson would say, easy peasy. Now, this stuff right here was easy peasy. Her face, and when I messed up her nose, not so easy peasy. Luckily, I can go in and fix that a little, and I'll let that dry. And while that dries a little, I'm going to go in here and erase the red pencil lines. I use a heat gun. I used to use a blow dryer. Heat guns went on sale, and I got myself a heat gun finally after 2 years of doing this without a heat gun and using a blow dryer. It's not a whole lot of difference. If you can afford to get a heat gun, get a heat gun. The temperature and how it does is just a tiny bit different. I find that the heat gun's a little bit quicker than the blow dryer, but not enough that if you are on a budget, it's worth getting one. I didn't have one for 2 years. So, like I said, it's not. Okay, well, I forgot to do this. Okay. Well, I messed up her face completely, but it'll be okay. So I'm going to get a sip of coffee. Excuse me. I am getting over the flu. Everything has pretty much dissipated but the sinus stuff. So when I work like this, I usually use my real paint brushes. When I'm doing to-go stuff, I have 3 of these in different sizes, or I use these. One of the sets I leave at home, and one of the sets I take with me, because when I journal in the living room, I usually take these. I don't usually take a jar of water and stuff like that with me. I have 13 people watching. So how about everybody say hello? Let me know who's watching. I'd appreciate it if y'all could just say hello. Hello, Alex. So according to watercolorist, you're supposed to start with the light colors. Paper Diaries. Caught this video live for the first time. Hello, Paper Diaries. So yeah, you're supposed to start with the light colors. Our bedspread is black on one side and then white with black trees and birds and stuff on it. But I'm not doing all that. I don't one have the patience to do that kind of detail work with something that's supposed to just be fun. And 2, just yeah. So instead, I really like this color. So I'm going to do the comforter this color. I've still got some eraser stuff on there. Okay. Like I said earlier, for those of you that just arrived, I am not a very good talk while I art person. Not very good at it. So if you want to talk amongst yourselves, feel free to. If you want to journal while I do this, feel free to. If I could add music to it, I would, but other than YouTube music, which is, I can't really do that. So, and I'm not quite sure in a live video how to do that. I could loop one of the YouTube songs, the free audio songs from Creative Commons from the YouTube audio library. I could loop it, I suppose, and play those. I have noticed that I hold the paintbrush different depending on what I'm doing. When I'm doing more detail work, I hold the paintbrush closer to the brush like this. But when I'm doing these longer, wider, bigger space, I hold it away. And I haven't taken any watercolor classes, so I don't know if that's a real thing. but it's just something I have actually noticed. So not having the heat gun means that this, where I want it to get a little darker, I'm going to have to go back in later and add some more watercolor to the places that I want it to be a little darker. That color is gorgeous. Yes, this, so y'all know, um, what's in this pan is a combination of Daniel Smith and Schminke. This is Wisteria by Daniel Smith. I got this by, what is Artistic Cat on Etsy. And this one is a more of a blue lavender. Well, come on. This is actually called lavender, and this one's called Wisteria. And I like to put them both down when I'm doing stuff. Like this, I don't know. I have a wisteria growing in my front yard. I bought it specifically so that I could grow it into, instead of being wild and growing all over a fence or trees or whatever, I wanted to make a bush out of it. So all right, that's got to dry so I can make it darker. Now see, I would have lavender, not so pink, but more of a purple wisteria if Mr. Rockstar would let me. I have a purple room in the house. Purple is my favorite color. I like purple and red. I tried to talk him into letting me put more red in the bedroom or purple, and he was like, no. So we have black and white in our bedroom. We are thinking about painting the wall in our bedroom a very pale blue, a silvery pale blue, because right now that's the only room in the house that is not painted, is our bedroom. And the rest of the house, all the rooms are different color. Our living room and hallway are taupe, like a latte color. Our dining room is brick red. And oh, hello, Dolly Daydream. Glad you're here. An accent wall in that color would be cozy. Yeah, well, if we paint our room, we're going to paint the whole room a really pale silvery blue. And then we're going to paint one wall just a tad darker, or paint an extra coat to make it look a tad darker. Mr. Rockstar's favorite color is midnight blue. Well, midnight blue, our house is a small starter, one of those little small brick starter homes. And it's small. And when I tell you our bedroom is small, I mean to tell you our bedroom is small. Our house is about 1,100 square feet. We don't need a tiny house. We live in a tiny house. Means a lot of storage needs to go vertical. So what happens when you live in a rather tiny home is that I just want this to be a little shadowed so it's not bright white. Oh, I did not mean to do green. Why is that green there? This is what happens when you drop your watercolor and you put things in the wrong place, because I usually know where every single thing is at, and that was not where that was supposed to be. And I'll have to go in with a white pen and write AM, the 8 a.m. thing. You live in a 208 square foot. Yeah, well, that's smaller than what we have. Yes, most definitely, definitely smaller. And I had on blue pajamas last night. Oh, that's not going to show up though. That's so not going to show up. Oh, how about we use this color? There's something on the edge of that pan. I'm gonna have to get the tweezers and get it off. When you shadow the lamp, do you do it with one shade or do you manipulate the paint for darkness and lightness? I go back in. And when I go back in, when that dries, I'll take my little tiny, tiny brush and I'll lighten up the Payne's Gray. I have some right here. I'll lighten up the Payne's Gray just a tiny bit, and I'll go through and I'll take this and I'll do, oh, there's something. And I'll take this. It's too wet to do it right now, but so you get an idea. And I'll take that. And if it weren't wet, it would actually have lines. And you would see the line. Or you could take a Zig Clean Color Real brush or one of those, what you call it, say, hello, Brenda, and do it with the marker. It's a lot easier sometimes when you're talking about that to do it with a marker than rather than a pen. So what I might do, because I messed up the space so more time, I smeared the ink. And I'm not a professional watercolor. I haven't taken, I am not even, I haven't taken any actual watercolor classes yet. I have been studying how to with other people on YouTube. That was one of the questions that people asked. And so I'm not a professional at all, not a professional. But I do a lot of things through trial and error. And I watch other YouTubers who are professional artists who do how-to videos to help you learn great things for beginners. And one of the best things I've found is to just get in there and do it. And you figure out what you like and what works for you, because everybody's going to do things just a little bit different. I've watched people who are professionals, and some of them do things differently than other professionals. So watercolor is not really too forgiving. And right now, because I don't have a heat gun over this side, I could get it, but I'd have to move the desk away from the wall to do that. I love Sandy Almach. I love Sandy. So I've just found that sometimes it's easier for you to kind of work with it, play around with it, try things, because for me, especially if you're doing this to go in a journal and you're not doing this for commissioned work, you can play. No, there's no right way or wrong way for you to experiment and try and figure out what you like and what works for you. I did too much right here. There's no law that says you have to do it somebody's way. It's really all about you doing what you like and what makes you happy and what works for you. And one of the things that I love about watercolor is that I can go in and make it darker. I'm not a big fan of acrylic because it's sticky. It leaves a sticky, yucky residue. And I don't want something to have to put something on top of in order for it not to be sticky. Now, on occasion, there are some watercolors that are a little bit sticky, the ones that have honey in them. Sometimes some of those are a tiny bit sticky, but they're not sticky in the way that acrylic is sticky when you put acrylic on a page. So it's a different kind of sticky. Yes, the only way to learn is to try. And do you know that if you try, quit worrying about what's the right way or the wrong way, like the right way to hold the brush or the wrong way to hold the brush. If you worry about holding the brush in the way that feels the most comfortable to you, that's the way to hold it. It's this, like there are certain ways that are better ways to hold a fountain pen because of the way the nibs are. But with a brush or a pencil, when you're drawing and writing, people hold their things all kinds of ways. And I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. When I'm doing bigger work, I do this. When I'm doing more detail work, I do this. When I'm doing detail work, I'm holding it much more like a pencil or a pen. And when I'm doing this, I'm holding it more like what I think of as an artist, how an artist holds. That was the only reason I was really hesitant to MacGyver my carbon, my platinum carbon desk pen, is because I like the longer Yeah, but once I MacGyvered it, I found one of these, and look at there. And the cap stays on, whereas when it was long and it had that point on it, it did not stay. You couldn't cap it. You couldn't post it. So I'm going to let it dry for a minute, and while I'm letting it dry, y'all can ask me some questions if you want, because I need to let this dry, and we'll try to correct her face. I'm going to try my hardest to correct that face just a little bit. I have some Prismacolor pencils I could technically use to fix her face a little. I don't have a flesh tone Prismacolor pencil, though. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I can fix it. The ink smeared. So anybody have any questions? I have 17 people watching now. I'm drinking coffee while I wait for this to dry for a minute and while y'all ask some questions. It's all about technique and what works for you. Yes, yes. And there are so many different kinds of techniques. I find it really fun to watch people, especially people who will tell you things about, I love the mind of Watercolor. I love his sense of humor, and I love how he does his sort of beginner videos. I think it's in liquid color. I like the Frugal Crafter, Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter. There are Sandy. There's what is her name? What is her name? What is the other lady's name? It'll come to me. But when they show you their stuff, and they talk about some of it, like beginner things about, like, they tell you different what brushes are out there and how you can use the brushes. They tell you, when I was watching one of them, they were talking about the glazing, about how you really want to do light to dark. It's the opposite of when you're doing acrylic stuff, like, you know, so you want the mind of Watercolor. Yes, these on YouTube. But there's in liquid color, there's by bun, there's some people do watercolor and mixed media. There's in liquid color, there's the Misfit watercolor. There's quite a few different ones. But what I like is when they tell you the different things. Like there's these different kinds of brushes, and these are what they're for, and this is how you can use them. Because there are a lot of different kinds of brushes. Like there's a brush that you can use to actually make leaves with, and it makes it a lot easier. There's a stippling brush that I think that's what it's called, but a lot of people use, in mixed media, use old toothbrushes to spray little watercolor little dots, white dots or other colored dots. Like when you're doing a galaxy painting, and you can use a toothbrush to get white dots all over your paper. They actually have a brush for that, to do that with. I use a toothbrush, but I have an old acrylic brush that has that kind of, here it is. It has that coarse, the really coarse, this is a Daler Rounding, and it has that coarse, they're coarse bristles. They're nothing like, so you can see the difference here. See how soft these bristles are? This is my Winsor Newton for watercolor. See this? I found this, and when I was going through things last month for Use It or Lose It, because as you can see, this is what I've actually been using. And then I have a bigger one. And you can tell that I've actually used this one. And I don't have anything, I mean, on my craft table, this was one of Victor's cups from when he was little. But I don't know what happened to the lid. It was a sippy cup, but it has rock and roll on it. And it has a guitar on it. So I kept it because it makes me smile when I look at it. And I have a coffee mug with some paintbrushes in it on the art desk. And then I have a bin, a round bin that has some in there. I need to go through and clean out some of the brushes because some of the brushes are really, really, really cheap brushes I started out with. And they leave little pieces of the brush hair on things. And I don't want those anymore in the actual bin of things I use to watercolor with. Those are fine to use for playing, like with Victor. Those need to go in the bag that I have for him. So I try to, because this is a little plastic cup, and I don't have to worry about it breaking because this one ends up sometimes in the living room. It goes from this craft table to the art desk because these are the ones I actually use. This is what I actually use the most. All right, let's see if this is dry now. Some of it's dry. I might have to go over to the art desk and do the heat gun for a minute. Let y'all talk amongst yourself for just a minute because I really want to fix her face. Okay. Now, I could use, and I'm not an expert at this at all. So not an expert. So this is a Faber-Castell erasable eraser silk typewriter ink. Old school, when I was growing up, we didn't have computers and we used typewriters for our research papers and term papers and everything else. Okay. I think that's good enough now, actually, to, the nose is still kind of wonky, but I'm not going to mess with it too much because then it'll be really wonky and I won't be able to fix it if I mess with it too much. But that's at least better. I think Jennifer's really enjoying the RV life. So I now only have 14 people watching. I got some people left. um, it's not very exciting when you do this kind of thing unless like you can actually talk while you do this. This is why I don't do these very often because I have trouble talking while I do this. You're still here? I'm still here too. um, I like doing stuff like this. Like I said, our walls are actually painted white, but I don't. And I'm okay with white space. Um, I'm debating on adding some of this color in here though to kind of make it pop. I need to go back in and make this darker again because it's like a shadow. Uh, there. Now that this is a lot darker. And let's do this. It actually looks like a drawer. You are keeping me company as I try to catch up on some cleaning. My mother has been in the hospital since Christmas Day, and I'm so behind. She's doing better and has been moved into rehab. Oh, that's great. Jennifer says it's interesting, but she settled in nicely. Brenda wants to go RVing one day. Whenever this is done, the chat's not going to be up, and people won't know what in the world I'm talking about. um, okay, now I need to go in with the white pen and put 8 a.m. I guess I need to do it with the green. I'll let that dry. I have a green pen that I got in an Art Snacks box. Oh, but that's too broad. Ooh, that won't work. Yeah, that's too broad. Thought I gotta. Let's see what I have in here. When my mom was in the hospital, they were talking about rehab, but they scared us. My mom had rehab. They came out to the house, but we weren't sure that they were going to be able to do it that way at first. We thought we were going to have to. She was going to have to actually stay at the rehab place for a while. So I'm glad that your mom is doing better. I know what it's like to be behind and stuff. I don't have any neon colors. This might be the closest. So I might use this. Yeah, Jen's not traveling in her RV. She's stationary for now. That makes it look a little naughty. So paint the background or not paint the background. Hopping by for a brief minute. I've not joined these before. Hello, how are you? It is very motivational to work alongside someone. It is, it is. And you know, I do this a lot. Um, Burgess, I just want to tell you that I enjoy all your coffee chats. Thank you. Thank you. I'm starting to run out of topics for coffee chats. Um, I go through spells where I have like a lot of ideas, and then sometimes an idea will occur to me when I'm going through something and I'm having a hard time, and then ideas will come to me for just, I don't know, something that I hear or that I see or that pops up in a Facebook feed, and it makes me think about something else, and then that goes to something else. Right now, I guess because my mind is in so many different creative coffee cups right now that I have a lot going on, and I am drawing a blank when it comes to the coffee chat for Monday and what I want to talk about. So this weekend, I decided, you know what, I was going to take a break from all the stuff that is looming over me that I need to come up with ideas for, and I was going to have some fun. And I thought, you know, I need to do a journal with me video for Patreon, and that was what this started out as. But I needed to do a journal with me for y'all too. So this gives you a chance to see what I actually do for Patreon, because I do these, and usually they're not live. Usually I film them. I don't talk. I don't time lapse, and it takes me about 30 minutes to an hour. And if I do have to time lapse, say like it takes me over an hour to do it, then I'll only time lapse it a tiny bit, and so that it's more like a real, like a live journal page. I can't talk, so I'll add a voiceover to it, and I'll do like a little chat with it for Patreon. Same thing I do sometimes for y'all with these, but most of the time I time lapse. I time lapse the ones for YouTube, usually times 4, sometimes times 8, depending on how long it is, because I like for them to be right around the 10 to 15 minute. I don't like to go over the 15 minutes on YouTube, because I think 10 or 15 minutes is a really good time frame for a journal with me, because people get kind of bored after, you know, after so long. I try every now and again, you'll get some that are 20 minutes though, if it's a really good thing. If I think it's worth the 20 minutes or more, you know. When people do longer journal with me's or things like that, I split it up. Like I'll watch part of it and then I'll pause it, and then I'll take a break and I'll go do some cleaning or I'll go do something else, and then I go back and I'll have my journal out, and and I'll do some more journaling while I watch the rest of it. You know, nothing major. I like to do the journal with me's with people. So okay. So now I'm still debating on this background. I'm going to try one more time just to kind of. So if I can do that, let it dry, then I can take this pink Prismacolor, add a little bit of color on her cheeks, and hopefully that will be that. I can fix that. Now, like I said, I'm debating on the wall. I might just leave the wall. Um, might just leave the wall. 16 people watching. This is pretty cool. I'm actually enjoying this. How long have I been on? I don't know. Let me check Patreon. I have some notifications. Okay. An hour or so. Okay. I wasn't sure. And I went to look on Google Hangouts or anywhere else, and I'm like, it's not telling me how long I've been on. I am so not a techie person. I need an assistant. I need for somebody to actually like make a video for me to show me how to do a lot of this stuff. I need to go to the technical college up here and take a couple of computer kind of classes. And eventually I might just do that. And I'm sorry my voice sounds so weird, but like I said, I'm over being sick, but it's my sinuses. It's still kind of. All right. So does anybody have any questions? I Does anybody have a request for a topic for Monday's coffee chat? I don't like how that looks. No, maybe that will be better. What book are you using? You probably said, did you do her face and pencil then watercolor over it? Okay. While that dries for a minute, I'm going to talk about how I drew what I drew on here. I don't always draw with pencil first. Normally, when I'm doing pages for myself and I don't have a camera going, I draw with a pen first. But whenever I'm going to film myself, I noticed I have less anxiety if I go ahead and I draw with a pencil first. And I use these Pilot Color Eno pencils, the mechanical pencils. I like the light blue better, but I did this one in red so that it would be easier to see, because I've noticed for me, I've noticed the light blue is a little bit harder to see on camera. So I drew it with the red. They will erase. So you can go over it with pen and then you can erase. But I drew her nose. Ah, dang it. I drew her nose and I smeared the ink, which is why I was trying to correct. It made her nose too big when I did it. It looked really good with the pencil. Coffee chat, the first 2 weeks of the new year and getting in the groove and being gentle with self, not overdoing. Yes. Hey, Barbara. I have more than one Barbara. I've actually thought about doing that. That's something I was going to talk about on Patreon, so maybe I'll do that and I'll just get more detailed. I should have been more specific. I thought you colored in her face with a white colored pencil. No, I erased the ink that I smeared with this Faber-Castell typewriter ink eraser stick. I erased the ink where it smeared from her face with this. This is a Prismacolor white pencil. And I could go in and do like a little tiny bit of, you could add highlight with this, but this is actually an eraser stick. Like back in old school when you typed with a typewriter, and you weren't, when I was learning, they wouldn't allow us to use correction tape. And you had to learn how to do this. And the pencils we had this eraser thing at this end, and they had like a little fanny looking thing at the other end where you got rid of the little pieces of eraser. So it is an eraser. It's specifically for ink, typewriter ink, pen ink, that kind of thing. And I don't know, my daughter gave this to me, so I don't know where it actually came from. I'm assuming you could probably buy them. Yes, the more the merrier. Yes, Barbara, you're right. So I'll be writing on this page. Now, this is Tomaway River paper. And the notebook I am using, this is the prototype of notebooks that Bree from Documented Journey is going to start putting in her shop sometime this month. This is the prototype of the Tomaway River paper. And it is really nice. I have been testing it out. Okay. I have been testing it out. Documented Journey. Documented Journey on Etsy. When the video is finished, I will try to leave a link to some of the things I talked about in the video. So this is something I've been testing. I did tip-ins. I did ephemera. I did watercolor. I put washi tape in it. I did bullet journal stuff to see how it kind of held up, because this is 52 GSM Tomaway River paper. And I needed to do extra stuff in it to kind of just see how it would. I loved her Christmas vlogs too. So what I do need, however, I have realized, because, and I've talked about this, I need a pencil board with really dark grid on it or really dark lines on it, because I do not write straight without a ruler. So when you see me writing straight in this, it's because I used a ruler. My pencil board, I can't see through it. Let me move this. So this is my pencil board by Taroko Design. And I can barely see. What I have thought about doing is cleaning this real good, cleaning and getting my paint and marker and stuff off of here, and taking a permanent marker and going over these lines. Because this is plain. Oh, I hate being sick. Can I make a pencil board? Probably with regular paper, but I don't have a laminator. So, and I've tried using tape, packing tape and making it myself like that. And then no, didn't work too well. I have several different pencil boards. I have the one for my Hobonichi. And I have an A5 Hobonichi pencil board and an A6 Hobonichi pencil board. But this is the one that comes up the clearest. Like if I use this, if there's no writing on the page, if I do this, you can just barely see it. But I have bifocals, y'all. You got the Taroko that's opaque rather than translucent, might be more visible. I'll try that one. But I have bifocals. And I'm telling you, seeing that faint a line, not so good for me. It doesn't work very well for me. But I've been testing out this notebook, and like I said, I've been adding all kinds of things to the pages. I have information about the newsletter, blog post I want to write. I've been daily art journaling in here, having some fun with watercolor and sketching while I watch TV, doing all kinds of things in here. I love this, y'all. I love this. She's got this all throughout this journal. Look at that. I don't know if she put this in because she was sending this to me to try, or if she'd be putting that in all of her journals, because where did my journal go? This that you buy, the one that has the Strathmore paper in it, the one that I ordered and had customized, this doesn't have those pieces of paper in it. It's just the Strathmore paper. So this is my sketchbook. This is my special book. I like the Strathmore paper to take with me for plein air sketching and things like that. I really do. I need to move this. I wanted to move this right here. So as you can see, I have done paint swatches in both. The Tomoe River paper does watercolor looks beautiful on Tomoe River paper. Hello, Molly. I'm glad you're here. So my first time watching me live, or your first time watching me? I don't do live videos a whole lot. I need to do them more often though. So I love the way that it looks on both. This is more opaque, but look how granulated, especially the Daniel Smith colors just are gorgeous. But I will be getting these sketchbooks from Bree. When this one gets to the point where I have about this much left, I will be ordering another one, and I will get it personalized. And if that sounds vain or narcissistic, then I guess it's going to have to. But this makes me feel really good. And I'm going to have a different quote put. And she can do whatever background she wants to. She could actually send me printables of that. And I would order printables, because if I ordered a printable, I actually have thought about and putting a printable on my astrology notebook. I switched, instead of having two of these, because I'm not a big fan of the B6 Slim. I like regular B6 size. So this is great for jotting down notes and for personal bullet journaling and stuff like that. But it's not so great for, and it's okay for morning pages. I have this one, and this is my morning pages, evening pages notebook. And I use it because I don't have it in a traveler's notebook. I don't have another B6 traveler's notebook, or I might would put it in one. But I like regular B6 size, and Bree's notebooks are regular B6 size. For morning pages, it's less intimidating. You don't have so much blank page to write for morning pages. But whenever you are trying to do any other kind of journaling, then I want more space. See, I've been doing all kinds of things in this one. I started with this one before these came in from the Nami paper. And this grid is really light on these pages. The grid is really light in astrology. Live. I love watching you, especially during NaNoWriMo prep time. Well, thank you. I am going to be interviewing Tamara, and I'm going to do a blog post and a video. That's going to be this Wednesday's Writer Wednesday video. I'm supposed to interview Tamara. We were going to interview each other. I was going to interview her Thursday night, but some things came up, and so probably interview her Monday. So, but I love this. And I told her the only issue that I had, and I first noticed, whenever you're putting it in here and it's in a traveler's notebook, because it is hand sewn, see this opening? You have to put the string in a spot where the signatures are solid. So she's going to fix that. That's the only issue. The only issue with it is that. So, yeah. So far, I am seriously debating getting a Breeze and cutting it to B6 size. Using Breeze Journal for this kind of stuff right here. I will get another one when she has them for sale in her shop, and I get to that last signature, this last signature, I will order another one of these too. Because like I said, I'm just going to have to figure out a pencil board solution. So I like this. But when the Stalogy is finished, when I fill this Stalogy up, I am debated about getting an Enigma and cutting it to B6 size, or getting a couple of breezes and having them cut to B6, regular B6 size. Because like I said, I am not a fan of the B6 Slim. So before I go, because I'm about to go, I'm done with this. I'm gonna do the writing. See that bled? I hate when that happens. I shouldn't have shut it before it was dry, but I'll do journaling, regular writing journaling over here, and this is one of Victor's old diaper spit up rags. I have a handkerchief that was my dad's, and one of Victor's washcloths that I use for this stuff. And I randomly wash it. Like, it's time to pretty much wash this one and the handkerchief. So that's it, y'all. If you have any questions, you can just put them in the comments below once it's live up on YouTube. And I mean, once it's uploaded to YouTube and it's not live anymore, y'all could just go ahead and put comments there if you want, if you have any questions, if you think about something. But I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Darn, you just saw the notification. It'll be on replay. It'll be on replay. But I'm gonna give you a minute to ask a question if you want to ask a question. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. I really enjoy doing this. This kind of thing is sort of a warm up. Like I said, for some people this would be the more serious thing. And when I first started, I would have needed to do something else to get warmed up to do this. Now, if I'm not behind the if I'm not filming with the camera, I can do this kind of thing for fun. But I can't when I'm filming. It's harder to do. It's harder to do when you know that you're filming. For me, it is, and that's because of my anxiety. So to curb that, I've started drawing with pencil. When I know I'm going to be filming, I draw it ahead of time with pencil, and I may change up the lines a little bit when I go over it with the pen, or add extra pen. You'll be able to see it. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube. I will fix the description and add a couple of links. I will add the link to Bree's Etsy shop where I got these journals from. Like I said, this is a prototype, the one with the Tomoe River paper in it. I don't think she has them available yet. But if one of you finds a place with that sells an actual B6, regular B6 size, not B6 Slim, pencil board, I might have to order another one and clean this one up and use this for my A5s and clean it, and then do the one, cut the other one down to B6 and get it from Tareko Design when I order the Breeze or the Enigma. But I'm thinking a permanent marker, have some Sharpies I could actually go over those lines with. So, but y'all don't worry, that it'll be up on YouTube. And then y'all can ask questions or whatever, and I will go I will look up the comments out and check things. But I will get the link for Bree's shop on Etsy if y'all want to check out her journals. Oh, right, you said you were going to make it available. Yeah, I'm gonna, as soon as I do this, it'll be available. It'll be available. When I finish, it should go up on YouTube, and then I'll just go in and edit the description and stuff. So, one other thing, I've been getting the emails for the newsletter. For y'all that are interested in signing up for the newsletter. I'm trying to finish up. I've got to finish editing the video for the newsletter and then write the blog post. I'm hoping to get the newsletter out on Wednesday, on the 17th, but it may not go out until the 19th. Push come to shove, the 24th. I've been thinking about want to do it once a month, so that when I do it once a month, it'll be like a review kind of for the month before the month. Like I do those reviews sometimes about how the month went. Well, what I want to do in the newsletter is a little bit different. I want to do a little bit more personal, how the month kind of went, like what I did, what I'm currently doing, and then what I hope to do in the upcoming month. And the video that I make for the newsletter, when you open up your email that you're going to get for my newsletter, there'll be a video. It'll be an unlisted video. It will not be a public video. It will be an unlisted video. So the video that I'm creating for the newsletter is just for the people who get the newsletter. Like Patreon gets their own videos. It'll be something special. You like my videos, Mick? Thank you. I like making videos. I don't like editing videos very much, but I do like the making of the video. I like coming up with the idea. I like the coffee chats are actually some of my favorites. This is my webcam I'm filming with, and I have figured it out. Yes, ma'am, you did. You sent me an email. That's right. I figured out how to use my webcam to film live videos. See, I just shook it. Sorry about that. But like, so this is stuff I've been testing out in this notebook. Me sick, and it looks like poison, but it's actually medicine. Laundry. But look how I love that. Cold medicine. So I've been testing out all kinds of things, seeing how much watercolor I could get on the page, because this is from an actual Chinese food menu. When I went to lunch with my mom and we had Chinese. Stickers. I've been doing all kinds of stuff in here to test it out. I haven't put very many more tip-ins in, so I need to do another journal page with some tip-ins. But other than that, so the notebooks held up really well. I like the size of it. I love Tomoe River paper. The 52 GSM, like what's in the Hobonichi, is really good for regular journaling. But I find that I really like the 68 GSM more when you're going to add a lot more stuff onto your pages. Like if I were just journaling and adding washi tape and watercolors and doing an occasional bit like this, it would be okay. But when you start adding tip-ins to 52 GSM, it doesn't hold up as well as the 68 GSM does, which is why I think I'm going to do this for this kind of journaling, and then get a Breeze for with the 68 GSM for the pictures and tip-ins and stuff. I don't know if I want separate journals or not, but because these are only like 50 pages though, it shouldn't be too bad, because I don't add tip-ins every single day. I only add tip-ins maybe once a week, once every other week. I don't do tip-ins a whole lot. I used to do them a whole lot, but I don't do them a whole lot anymore. So, and for those of you who haven't seen, let me put this back where it goes. I finally got in my Brave charm. And it says be brave. I'm so excited. I like how I have things set up right now. I really like the style with watercolor. Haven't been able to start it myself yet though. That's one of the things I'm going to talk about in the newsletter is how I started with watercolor. Some people had some questions, and I want to start adding watercolor to my name. Life has been a little nuts for the last month. I haven't felt drawn to do anything but write. Yeah, I go through spells where I do more writing, and then I go through spells where I do more journaling. I don't do my personal diary, dear diary style journaling in these. I do that separate. Partly because a lot of this stuff is on social media, and there are some things that are private. But I do most of my regular, all of my regular stuff goes in here. And then, like I said, this is my sketchbook. This one is my sketchbook. So, I really love the B6. Do I get overwhelmed by the blank page? The only time that blank pages overwhelm me is when I first get up in the morning and I go to do morning pages. And I just start with I don't know what to write. Or oh, I need more coffee. Or oh, I need coffee. And that kind of gets rid of that, which is why I said this is actually my morning pages, evening pages journal right here. And it's the B6 Slim. I'm not a fan of B6 Slim for anything else except that kind of personal bullet journal where I just jot things down because this stays with me. These two stay with me all the time. I could throw them in my bag. They stay with me all the time now. And the only other one that stays with me all the time now, where did I? It's right here. It was on my desk. What did I do with it? Oh, it's under my camera. Is this. So these stay in my book bag now. They kind of go room to room with me. And I write gratitude. I write personal notes and ideas and stuff in this one. So these stay with me pretty much all the time. And I write so much and I do so much that what I struggle with really is not getting overwhelmed with not being able to use all of the journals. You love that. I'll have to find, I just got that not long ago, and I think I got the little palette. I got the little palette charm. And the little cup charm with the pins in it. And then this one says, be brave. Let me wipe this off because the shiny is going to be harder to see anyway. And I've been putting my fingerprints all over it. This is the first time I've actually like gotten super excited because most of my other travelers notebooks have Snoopy charms on them. I guess I have it too there. Can y'all see it? You keep all of your art supplies in cute coffee cups. That way I can use lots of cute cups. Yeah. Well, Mr. Rockstar was complaining because he's like, you don't need any more coffee cups. We have a ton of coffee cups, but we have old coffee cups. Like, yeah, they're. So I was like, you know what? I'll use my cute, like, I have my typewriters on a chest of drawers that I decoupaged. And on each end of that, I have writer, reader, book nerdy, writer nerdy kind of mugs on there. And in those mugs, I have highlighters in one mug and pens, regular writing pens in another. What's the little black and white glass bead on a Brave notebook? Oh, okay. Whoa. That was my tower door shutting. This is a bookmark. And unfortunately, it was the only one. That's a globe. This is Amber. Jen sent me this. I bought this from the same place I bought this from. And I'll leave the link to the bookmark below. Because these are just monkey knots. And what's on here, those are ones that Janelle made for me that came with my Janelle fish. And so you can see, like, this is what houses my work bullet journal and my work, and then my notebook for notes for work. And that has the Snoopy charm on it. And it has just the Leuchtturm bookmarks and then the monkey knots, and that's a dragonfly. And then I think the only other and then my writer's Bible has a Snoopy charm, and it has a typewriter, and it had another charm, but the charm popped off. So I've got to find it. It's somewhere in this room. But that's a little sterling silver typewriter, and it needs to be cleaned. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot of that kind of stuff. Pretty bookmarks. Looking forward to exploring the links. Yeah, I will leave the links because I just kind of started finding stuff like that. I never really decorated my Janelle fish much because Janelle, when she first started, she made these little charms for you to put on the bookmarks, and I like those, so I never really had to get bookmarks. Well, because now I'm getting traveler's notebooks that don't necessarily have bookmarks, I needed bookmarks. So I have some monkey knots, and I have that stuff, and I got the bookmarks and the little charms. I like the differences though. I like how they look. But mostly bookmarks are really good for me because that way I have a mark that tells me where I'm at. Otherwise, I'm spending extra time trying to find out where I'm at. But yeah, I'll definitely leave the links below. And yeah, I have found, I wish this had been in silver though. Wish this had been in silver instead of gold. So I have a little charm right here that says love. And I really wish that had been in silver instead of gold. So anybody got any other questions? Because I'm about to go because now I'm feeling kind of rambly and I need to fix myself another cup of coffee. And I need to put a plan with me video together because I filmed it last night, but I haven't had a chance to edit it yet. And so that's it. I know there's like a 30-second lag, so. Oh, thank you for sharing part of your day with me. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, Danny Gregory says in almost all of his books that the best way to do something to get better at it is to do it every day. Take 10 minutes or 15 minutes of your time first thing in the morning or when you're at lunch or whatever, and draw your coffee cup or your bagel or your glass of tea or glass of milk or whatever, you know, your glass of orange juice in the morning. Draw the book that you're journaling out of. Draw the book that you're reading. The more that you get at, the more you do that, and I find the easier it gets. The easier it gets. I have most of his books. I don't have all of them, but I have most of them. And this picture, actually, see if I can find it, came right out of his book. I just changed it. Let me see. I just made it my own. He did the same thing, but I made mine my own. He tells you to get up an extra 23 minutes and set an alarm. Well, I didn't get up and set an alarm. I did a live video. And I changed things. There's nobody in his bed, you know. So I drew my own. But he has these lessons in here. Monday's lesson, Tuesday's lesson, Wednesday's lesson. And you go in and you draw stuff in your house, and he teaches you about lines, and about your where your eyes go, and space. This is negative space. And this is called contour drawing. And this is from his Art Before Breakfast. And I like drawing this kind of stuff right here a lot. This is a lot of what you see in my journals because it's so easy. And I like Danny Gregory's work because, look, it's not perfect. It's more illustrative. It's really, some of it's really good. He's a really good artist. But see, some of them are fun. And then some, that's himself. Some of them are way more serious. These he drew with watercolor. And you can tell it's not even, there's not even a pen. And he tells you to do that, to draw where loosen up, where you know. But I like how he does things because I'm not trying to be a professional artist. I have the creative license. It's the same. Go, use it, read it. Look at it and use it for a reference and try to draw some of the stuff that's in there, and then draw some of the stuff that he tells you to try to draw. But you can see, like, this is completely different than this. That's him drawing at breakfast. And see, if you do something like that, real quick, you want to do it real quick. You don't want to spend a lot of time on a lot of detail. You want to get it done real quick, because your breakfast will get cold, you know, if you take a lot of time to do it. And what happens when you try to do it a little bit quicker is that the perfectionism doesn't have a chance to really kick in if you don't take all that time to think about it. So I highly recommend Danny Gregory's books. I want all of them. There's 2 books that I don't have. I have all the rest of them. Yeah, Kindle. Yeah, I love his books. If I could take a class by anybody, a real live in-person class, or I would take his class. I have taken the drawing class on Sketchbook Schools, but I have not taken any of the other classes. I have debated on taking some of the other classes. I just haven't. I want to take Liz Steele, and she is part of Sketchbook School. I would like to take Liz Steele's watercolor classes and the other class that she has. I want to get better, but I want to get better for me. I'm not trying to get better to do, I don't know. I really want to learn some of the core basics for like shadow and shading and perspective and things. Just I've been doing everything on my own, and going back to, no, I haven't done a by bun class. I'm not into mixed media. I like watercolor, and I've been afraid to do a by bun class because what I've seen, some of her stuff is it's more mixed media. So I don't know. I need to check and see if any of her classes are watercolor, because like I said, I don't like acrylic. I'm not an acrylic person. I'm not mixed media. To me, what the only kind of mixed media I like is to add in collage stuff, like pictures or pictures from magazines or pieces of paper or tip-ins, and I like using watercolor markers and watercolor and pencils and Prismacolor pencils and stickers and stuff, but I don't like acrylic paint. I'm not a fan of acrylic paint. I'm going to get some gouache, and I might be playing around with gouache some, and then playing around with watercolor and gouache. But anything that requires acrylic paint, I gave all my acrylic paint except the white and the black to my daughter, because she actually uses that. And I've tried it. I like it for projects. I have used it with a couple of projects, DIY stuff, like painting a wooden box or painting the top of something or whatever, but not for actual journal pages or sketchbook pages or anything. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll see y'all tomorrow with a time-lapse plan with me, and then Monday with a coffee chat. You never use acrylics in your mixed media either. Yeah, I'm not a fan. And I mean, to me, well, the definition of mixed media would be mixing different types of mediums together. And so I do mixed media, but I don't do any kind of mixed media that requires acrylic. Thank you. Like I said, if y'all have any other questions, just leave them below, and I'm going to, while this does its thing, go find the links. Bye, y'all.